What's happening, good people? Welcome to the channel. I'm Wes, aka Mr. Budget Watch, and today I'm going to quickly show you how I do a Lume video. So you can see now I've got a little setup going, and I'm going to show you each and every bit of things, well, I do, to get a cool Lume shot, what I use at the beginning of my videos. So first things first, we're going to talk about, well, the watch, and we've got the watch right there. So this is the Octopus Kraken. This is just something I'm filming B-roll for at the minute. So next up we have the UV torch. This is a rechargeable one from Amazon. I'll link it in the description. It's really bloody good. It's got loads of different functions as well as a built-in UV, and it's also got a little light there as well, what you can use in emergencies. Really ridiculously bright as well, and it wasn't too much either, so I'll link it in the description. So you can see we've got the watch just resting against this, and then I'm going to show you that. So I've got the UV providing the charge for the Lume. You can just see it glowing away right there, and if I just move it away quickly, you can just see how bright it is. But I'm just charging it up a minute, so I'll just put that back. So it is ridiculously bright, that Lume. Obviously, you know, different watches, different, you know, Lume, but this one's surprisingly good. But you'll see that when you watch the video. So we're going to move on to my camera. So this is a Canon M50, what I'm using. You can just see that there, Canon M50. And this is pretty much what I do. So the lens I'm using is just a 7 Artisans macro lens for this camera system, but you can use pretty much any lens you can do. Now, usually with lenses you get a f-stop number, which is you know, quite important. And that is basically, in simple terms, how much light gets let in to your camera. Now, because mine is a manual lens, it doesn't have automatic controls here. You just do it on the lens instead. But if you get one that has contacts where it communicates with the camera, then basically you want this. You know, f2 is usually what I used before on my other lens, what I use, but now this one goes down to like f I think it's is it f2 f2.8, which is why I have to adjust some other settings. So other settings, you can see I use 1/8, and basically that's how long the exposure is, essentially. Again, in you know, in simple terms. And then there's your f-stop number, and then there's the ISO. Now the reason why I use these settings is I basically do it by eye. So when I remove the UV torch, what I see on the screen is what I see by my own eyes. So now if I just move that, I'll just show you an example. So if I just move that, put that down. So that what you're seeing now, it's a bit rubbish because I'm filming on my phone. But that, what I'm seeing by my eye, is what I'm seeing over at the watch. So I'm basically trying to capture the Lume accurately. I'm not caring about, you know, blowing it up or making it look, you know, really sort of over the top. I'm capturing basically what I see. And what I see is pretty much identical to that. Now, of course, you're going to have to change these settings depending on what watch you're filming. I've noticed when I'm filming Seikos, I don't need to put it all the way down to 1/8 just because of how insanely bright they are. But other watches, you do have to put it right down to here to really capture it. And of course, you know, the ISO will change, and that will change depending on what lens you are using. If you're using a manual lens, obviously you can change that on your lens. If you're using a one that you can adjust it, then of course then you want to adjust it to as low as it can go to let in as much light as possible. Then of course you want to blast it with a UV torch, or leave it out in the sunlight if you can. In the UK we don't get much sun, which is why I've got a really good UV torch, which basically gives you the same effect as, you know, UV. Obviously it's not as good. It's not the same, but you know, UV is a little bit, you can charge it a little bit quicker. So yeah, that's why I use a UV torch, because obviously I'm filming quite a lot at once, and I don't want to be baking, you know, my watches in the sun for hours and hours on end. So quick blast with a UV torch, and then I film the video essentially. And you can see now it is starting to fade a little bit. Little sneak peek, the hands are brighter than the indices. That's usually what happens. But yeah, that is pretty much how I film it. So I plonk my watch down wherever it needs to go. Usually I film it on a flat surface, but I thought I'd, you know, just change it up for today. And that's what I do. So I put the watch somewhere so I can get a nice view of all the dial, all the indices, and everything that is loomed. If I'm filming a dive watch, I'll pull out a little bit more, so you can see if it's got a loomed bezel or a loomed pip, and then you get to see that in the video as well. And then for my intro, once this is done, because we've been filming for 7 minutes now, so when this is done around 20 or so minutes, I'll charge it up again, and then I'll film, you know, a few little close-ups and stuff like that. So yeah, that's pretty much how I do a Lume video. So there are my settings again. You can just see there, but again, they do change depending on, well, obviously your camera, your lens, and the lighting that you've got. Obviously you want to film it as dark a room as possible, because that way the Lume is really going to pop. Then if you're filming in a bright room, you're not really going to get that same impact. But in my room, I've got my door shut, so there's no light coming from there. I've got a blackout blind blocking all the natural light coming out, and there's no other lights on in the room whatsoever. It's not pitch black because I'm actually filming during the day. If I film during the night, then obviously, you know, it's going to look a bit different, and I can change my settings again. But it's all just based on when I can film and, you know, when I get the opportunity to do it. But anyway, I hope this, you found this helpful. Thanks for watching the video. Be sure to subscribe if you haven't already. Like the video if you enjoyed it. Hit that notification bell so you don't miss any uploads. And of course, follow me on social media at Mr. Budget Watch. Thanks again. I'll see you soon.